By now, I'm sure most of you have seen my Tesla video that I posted yesterday about expanding the scale of the square. And today is going to be the same thing that I'm going to do for Bitcoin and the total crypto market cap and the others chart as well. So, this is the scale that I've shown on X numerous times, where each level, the orange level, the blue level, the green level, have already been hit successfully and flipped to support successfully, right? And as I've shown before, the next target is around 175,000 for the next level of Bitcoin, right? And that could possibly be like later in the future, maybe even as late as 2028, right? If it expands really, really long, right? We don't know the time, but this is a possibility right here, maybe 2028, right? So now we can see that price is above the arc for the first time and that it's gravitating up, up, and up, right? So is it going to come back down and test levels? Probably not. And I'm going to show you why by expanding the square. So let's expand the square. So here's the new scale where I increased the y-axis, so this is taller, and I increased the x-axis, so this is longer. So this scale is larger, but you will find that it is still very symmetrical. And in the beginning, you can see that it came up and it broke the orange level and came back and retested it. Came up to this angle, lost it, drifted lower to the next angle and to the arcs, and then lost that as support. Then it was up and down along these arcs as support resistance. Then the blue angle became very important over time, going all the way up, and it was resistance here, and then it flipped to support right here. After it broke the blue level, came up, back tested it successfully, right? Then came up, and the blue angle right here was finally lost as support right here, maybe in 2018, and then it drifted lower, only to successfully backtest the top of the arc, right? And after that was a successful backtest, it came up and gravitated to the next angle where during COVID, it came back and successfully finally tested it and came up to the very top, the next level, and you can see clearly that the exact top of the market was the green level and it was the top arc as well, right? There's no coincidence with that. And then price after that tried to maintain support of the arc, but then it failed and it lost this angle and it lost the arc, and that's when the bear market really began, right? Right here. This is when the bear market began because it lost the support and the arc at the same time, and that was a sign to get out, right? And sure enough, things went much lower for a long time, and then finally we came back up to retest this bottom arc, flipped it to support here, and where does price lead you right now? Well, it leads us to the price is currently at the green level, trying to hold it as support for Bitcoin, right? It's never done that before. It's never tried to flip the top level, the green level, to support, let alone that it has never even flipped the arc to support. So could it come back down and retest the arc in the low 50s? I mean, worst case, that could be a possibility, but either way, if it's this level or 60,000 or 50,000, this is going to be support now. This zone is going to be support now because it's never done that before. And on this scale, once we confirm this as support, it's going to go higher, right? And on that other chart that I showed you, up to 175,000, right, which could be here, or 200,000, which could be there. But where is the next level on this increased scale? So let's recap a little bit. It did hit one level at a time already, right? It hit the orange level, back tested, hit the blue level, back tested. The green level, it's been there for a long time, and now it's trying to hold it as support. So where does the next level bring us? Well, it's kind of hard to believe, but here it is. Almost 2 million for Bitcoin, right? That's the next level, 2 million. And is that going to happen right away? Probably not. But the time frame could be maybe by 2033 in November, almost 2034, right? So a $2 million Bitcoin by the year 2033, that's a possibility. And maybe 175,000 by what, 2028 at the latest, I would say, right? 175,000 down here around this time. Yeah. So you can see a trend probably go up and up and up and up to this $2 million level eventually, right? So as you can see, no matter if you increase the scale of the square or you decrease it, they still remain symmetrical. And everything is showing us that this chart is still bullish regardless of, oh, it's a double top, it's a triple top, or whatever, right? This chart is proof right here that it's never done this before in the past. It's never flipped an arc, and it's never tried to flip a level, this level specifically, right? So that's one thing to notice. But now let's do this for the total crypto market cap too, because we can see that this is very, very symmetrical. So now I increased the scale of the total crypto market cap. So let's take a look. So this is the total crypto market cap where it's currently 2.216 trillion up there. And one thing that I don't think I've ever shown a log scale total crypto market cap on X before, so this is new anyways, but I did increase the Y and I increased the X, so this chart is much larger, this scale is much larger, and we can see that this angle from the beginning, really, it's been very important throughout time, right there, that angle right there. And let's go through the levels. So the first level came up, hesitated a little bit there around 58 billion. Then it came up to these orange arcs, tried to flip it to support here, but it couldn't, and it lost this angle as support, and that is probably the biggest reason why that it drifted lower and started to do a bear market, right? Because this angle was support, and then right here it flipped it to support. Then it started losing arcs. Then the arc became resistance there. And then slowly but surely it lost this angle and that arc. And what do you know? At the exact same time again, losing an angle, losing an arc, it's a bear market. Like, goes down pretty quickly, right? So we can see the confluence of events there again that we saw on Bitcoin, and we see it here with the total crypto market cap. And again, then it goes up to the arc, tries to flip it to support again, but it did not. Then it came back and it lost this angle and almost lost this arc, but within a few weeks it was able to regain that arc again, so it was not the same situation here. And then it finally flipped this angle to a support up here, and we can go higher, and then finally it went to the next level. It went to the blue level, right at the 1.6 1.63 trillion. So it met this level very quickly. Now it's at that level, right? So we can see the total crypto market cap. Where did the top lead us? Well, the top was exactly the top arc, right? And we can see what happened after that. It went back to retest that level, but then we see that it lost an angle and it lost a level, and that was the beginning of a bear market as well, until price was able to break the resistance of the bottom arc again, because it flipped it to resistance right here. And then after that, it flipped the bottom arc, as you can see, to support. Flipped it to support so easily. Like, it went up and it back tested it once, almost twice, back up to the blue level where it was resistance clearly. We can zoom in and see that, right? Clearly resistance, all those wicks above that blue level. There's wicks below for the support. Same thing for resistance. Then immediately when it broke free, you can see that it's breaking levels, right? It broke the level, then it broke the arc, then it came back, and now what do we see price doing? We can see price flipping this arc to support. Again, it's never done that before for the total crypto market cap. It was resistance. Now it did a bullish engulfing candle above it, came back successfully, already back tested it. Now it's just floating in a zone, right? It's floating in a zone. So could it come back down and test it again in the lower 2 trillions or the high 1 trillions, like 1.9 something? Yeah, that is a possibility, right? But we have never seen this before on any of the charts, right? It's never happened before. So in that case, this is going to be flipped to support, because this already broke out right here. It broke out from the level, back tested the arc, and it could do it again. But where's the next level for the total crypto market cap? Well, let's go up. Up and up and up. Well, the next level leads us to $45 trillion market cap, right? That is the next level. And it's not going to happen right away. It's probably not going to happen by the time this 2026, but it could, right? It could just explode higher. We don't know. But it could happen much, much later in time. So the point is that this chart no matter which scale of the Gann square, you can see how bullish things actually are. It's not that bearish. It's not bearish at all. Like, we have never seen things flip levels or flip arcs before from the previous cycle until recently. And this is what we're seeing now. And lastly, I'll show you the others chart, which is excluding the top 10 of the market cap. So let's take a look at that. So this is the others crypto market cap. And I increased the scale on this one to a much larger square, but I did make one before where this used to be the orange level right here, but now this is the orange level, right? So it's still symmetrical no matter when you change it and make it larger. So you can see the angles are still respected. You can still see the arcs, and the levels are going to be still respected too. The first one right here, however, just went right through and then straight up to this angle and then back to retest this angle. But you can still see things trying to hold as support, right? It tried to hold right here, this top arc as support, then it flipped it to resistance, and then it went lower to the angle below. And then again, right here, it lost this angle, and then it was trying to battle this top arc again. Then what COVID happened to retest the bottom of this arc, and then basically it went higher and higher. And so the next level is a lot more important, and that's currently around where we are now. So we can see it shot up exactly to that level, stopped a little bit to the arc, a little bit, came back to the level and that angle, and we can see that with the others chart that it tried to flip this arc to support, but it couldn't because it lost this angle and it lost the arc at the same time. And when that happens, things typically drift lower, right? And that's exactly what we saw. We saw things drift lower, then it lost the level again. This bearish engulfing candle closed directly below that level, which indicated that things are going to go lower. And sure enough, back and retested the blue arc. And what do we see next? The blue arc was really support for a long time. And that leads us to today, right? It leads us right here where, once again, we're on the top side of an arc where we can see once it came up here, it was a resistance. The top of the arc right here was resistance again because it was a resistance in the past. And so it was resistance there for many, many weeks. Finally, it broke free, almost retested it, and now it's successfully already back tested it last week. And so is this level going to hold? Possibly. Could we go back down and retest this blue line again? That's also possible. But what's really looking to happen is that this 180 to maybe 200 billion or so, that is the buy zone. That is the level that things should hold. So the confluence of events that we see with Bitcoin, that we see with the total crypto market cap, that we see with the others chart, is that levels and arcs are being flipped to support currently. And no matter what scale of the chart that you choose, everything still lines up perfectly, that everything is still bullish. This is just some consolidation. Now, sure, when you break down the individual coins within the others chart, right, some of them are breaking lower and lower and making lower lows. They're not as bullish as this others chart. So there are going to be a lot of winners in the others chart, but there's going to be a lot of losers as well that won't probably recover as much as others. So we need to keep that in mind. And typically when you see a chart, you want to buy strength of the chart and not buy a bearish looking chart, because otherwise it might not recover and it might not look like something like this others chart in the future. So that's my advice. But in general, everything still looks really bullish. Nothing too much to worry about because the trend is your friend. And so far the trend says things are going to go much higher. And how high could things possibly go? Well, the next level on this chart right here still sits, for the others chart, it still sits around 14 trillion, right? I think the last one I said around 12 trillion, right? So this one increases a little bit more, just a little bit. So we can see that still it's trending in the right direction. So just be patient, and who knows how long this bearish trend will last, but it will end eventually, and things will eventually continue higher and higher.